everybody, welcome back to Wojo Homestead. So today is day 13 of our eggs from eBay being in the incubator. So we are going to candle those eggs today. We'll show you what candling is, what to look for, and we're going to estimate about how many baby chicks we may have in another 8 days. Let's take a look. So what is this box with a hole in it? This is our homemade egg candler. You can buy an egg candler for $15 to $50, but we don't feel like spending that. So what we did is we took a box, cut a hole into the top of it, and we are going to put Eric's headlamp inside and turn it on and seal it up. So only the light is going to come through the top here. And we're going to sit the egg on top and it's going to illuminate just the egg so we can see more easily. You can just hold the egg carefully, but I don't really want to risk dropping one. So we're going to do the homemade egg candler today. So Katie, why are there two incubators set up? Well, we were having some problems with the Hovabator. This is our old incubator. We hadn't worked it in a few years and it just was not holding a consistent temperature or humidity. So I went ahead and I ordered a new incubator. This is a different kind. This is from Farm Innovator. It holds about 41 eggs, I think. It does have a digital thermometer and hygrometer to determine the humidity. Now, one thing I have found is that that is not accurate. So I have another thermometer down in there just to safeguard us. There may be a way to program this or calibrate this a little bit better. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So just to be safe, I'm keeping a backup in there. And it's flashing at me because it thinks it's too hot, but it is actually about 100 degrees in there and 47% humidity, not the 42% you see here. So we are going to have to turn off the lights to candle these eggs. We need a completely dark room, so you're only going to see the eggs for the next little while. Here's the first egg. It's a Silkie Bantam egg, and as you can see, there's not a whole lot going on inside. You can just see the faint outline of the yolk at the top, ever so slightly. So this is going to be one that is not a fertile egg. So we're going to put this back to the side. Okay, so here's an example of an egg that was fertilized. This dark spot here was an embryo. And you can faintly see a red ring kind of around the top half of it. That to me tells me, okay, it's day 13. That embryo lived for just a couple of days and it is now deceased. It should be much further along by now. So let's try to find an example of one that is maybe still living. Just show that one again. Here's an even more clear example of what we just talked about. The red ring around the outside and the faint black spot there, that is one that has also died. Now this does not surprise me. We did have so much fluctuation with that first incubator that I'm not surprised to find a lot of these have not made it.
I don't think that one made it either. Oh.
Okay. Okay, so here's an example of an egg that I'm hopeful about. This is also a Silkie Bantam egg. It may actually not be alive anymore, but as you can see, it's much further developed. See if you can catch some movement. You can see them move at this stage. Okay, so we're putting that into the maybe category.
Okay.
Okay, here is another Silkie Bantam that is a maybe. That looks fairly developed. It looks right on schedule. No guarantees that it'll hatch, but it's at least promising. The baby chick is taking up most of the inside by this point. Okay, so that's 2 out of 10 Silkie Bantam eggs. That's not a very good hatch rate so far, or fertilization rate. Actually, they were mostly fertile. I only saw one that wasn't fertile, but all of the embryos except for 2 have died at this point. So, which again, I'm not surprised about, but it's still pretty disappointing. So let's check the French black copper Marans. Okay, the thing about the French black copper Marans is their eggs are quite a bit darker. It is more difficult to see, but I can tell just from looking at this one that there is nothing in this one. This is an empty egg, probably was never fertilized.
Seen a lot of that.
Not sure about that one. That's really hard to see too.
Yeah, I don't think that one's got anything really solid in it. That one more so maybe.
Okay, so it is pretty hard to see, but we think this one may have something in it. We'll check a few more just to make sure.
I think that incubator killed a lot of them.
Yeah, this is not good. Oh, there we go.
There's one.
Okay, here is a positive. This definitely has an embryo in it. I'm actually now convinced that none of the previous did. You can see it's really opaque, meaning you can't see the light through it except for at the very bottom. So we're going to very carefully set this egg back. Okay, so this is a good example of a Maran egg that did have an embryo at one point, but it died within the first 3-ish days, 3 or 4 days. That's disappointing. Gosh.
So this is shows the importance of having a good incubator.
Yeah. Oh, that's really disappointing. Okay, so the news is not good. So out of all the eggs in the incubator, we only found 3 that we're pretty confident are developing on time. There are 8 days left, so anything could happen, but I guess the lesson here is be sure about your incubator before you start. I did start it up a few days in advance, but I should have been watching the temperature. I should have really made sure that it was good to go. So failure to plan is planning to fail. Hopefully the hatch that we do after this will result in a lot more birds. This incubator seems a little bit better. If I could just figure out how to work it. It's not the end of the world because we didn't need very many more chickens. I was just really hoping for at least a couple of black copper Marans hens. So it could have been a number of things. It could have been the egg fertility. It could have been the fact that they were shipped across the country. It could have been I let them rest too long or not long enough. Wrong temperature, wrong humidity. Maybe I missed a temperature spike in the old incubator. You know, maybe they got too cold for too long. Who knows? It's kind of an art as much as it is a science. In a perfect world, I would have a broody hen sitting on these eggs, but because we don't trust the ones that we have that have gone broody right now, we're doing it this way. So,
well, that's why we're trying to get more silkies, right?
And that is a reason why we are trying to get more silkies, because the silkies that we've had in the past have been wonderful egg setters, meaning that they love to hatch eggs. We once had a pair of silky sisters sitting on the same clutch of eggs. So their little fluffy butts covered, I don't know, 20 eggs between the two of them, or at least they tried. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and we will keep you posted on what happens to these eggs. Take care. Bye-bye.